Right. DB started this. DB, go ahead.
Damn it, DB.
Yeah, I want to know,
how much time you have left? How much time you have left? How much time you got?
You talking to me?
Yes. How much time you got?
Yeah, I got about 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. Go ahead. So the fans know.
Yeah, we lost 3 more soldiers a couple of months ago. Have you ever met or worked with Chadwick Boseman? And also, how did his transition affect you?
I never worked with Chadwick. I'm just first of all, we gotta take our hats off to Denzel Washington, who's the king. He supported this young man in college, and which I didn't know.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow, amazing. I thought the young brother was an amazing actor. I thought he just, when I saw him as Jackie Robinson, when I saw him in the James Brown, so I just thought he was an amazing actor. You know, of course, Panther. You know, he was an amazing actor, and it's just a tragic loss. I'm an artist first, you know, African-American artist, and I love artists, man. I love actors and musicians and writers and all the entertaining people, the stuff that you guys do. And it's a loss for our community, you know. But, you know, this life is not promised, man. And you just gotta live every day. And then I read articles where people were, no, he's losing weight, he must be on crack. I'm gonna say this again, man. And I know y'all think y'all can call in, you can write in. Well, Mr. Powell better watch himself, talking about a lot. Don't misquote me. I said anything about Elijah Muhammad. Do your research. That's all I tell you to do. When you hear what I said about Spike Lee, do your research. Now, I commend Spike because he went to talk to Tyler. But I'm always going to say, as a black man, I can't sit here and throw another black man under the bus. Not going to do that. Do your research, you know, on Dr. King. Do your research on John Kennedy. And I will say all men of power are flawed. And it's a level of discipline. I think I'm a great father. I don't know if I think I'm a great actor. I know I'm not Denzel Washington, but I think I've left some memorable roles behind. But I'm a flawed person. And every day I wake up and try to do better. So I take my hat off to that young brother. He left us a legacy, man. What a great loss, man. An amazing loss.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. Have you ever turned down a role because it didn't align with your morals or because you felt like it will potentially compromise your integrity?
Man, have you been talking to these other interviewers or something?
No, that's funny you say somebody. I got that in my notes.
Somebody asked me that question the other day. So early on in my career, I got cast in a show called Simon on the WB, I think it was the WB network. And I was excited because, you know, I've done a lot of TV series, and other than Saints and Sinners, I've had maybe 5 or 6 TV series, and they've only gone 7 episodes.
Wow. So
what happens is, it's a long story. I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible. When you first start, man, and you go up for a TV series back in my day, your manager calls you, hey, Cliff, say, hey, Mike, listen, they bring you to network. And you're like, okay, now you poor as hell. They're bringing you to network. And what they're offering you is $35,000 a week. And you just start to get gassy. No, for real, you get gassy. And then you say, 35,000, that's for 1 week. No, he said, that's for like 13 weeks. But if it gets picked up, it could go 22 weeks. So right away, you on your calculating going, shit, that's almost $300,000, $450,000. So when you go into the room in this big network off building with this big ass conference room with 25 other actors that are pacing like they're at the maternity ward, it is pressure like you've never felt. And they take 3 characters for each role. So you might go in, my man might go in, and I might go in. We all look totally different. And you got to go in there and not nail it, but you got to hit a grand slam, especially as black as I am.
Right.
And so when that happens, man, you're like, what in the hell is going on? And then you start getting those first checks and you really think you've arrived. Wow. So when they called me for Simon, they were like, you may not have to go through that whole process because they really want you. So when I got there, my first day of rehearsal, it was set in Harlem. And it was about these 2 white boys, Jason Bateman and this guy named Harlan Williams, who I thought was going to be a star, who I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. And they had I was playing a portrait painter. who had just got released from prison. That's what they told me. A portrait painting. And I was kind of like the guy around the building in New York. You know, it's hard to find an apartment. So I'm the guy that can, you know, New York, bruh, Frederick. So I'm the kind of guy that can help you get in. So the first scene is Harlan and Jason Bateman coming into the apartment, and on the floor, they got an outline of a body, and then they got police tape around the perimeter. So I come in with a pea coat on and a you know, black cap, looking like a thug. And I'm like, yo, what's up, big homie? Y'all doing good? And Harlan right away jumps back. Oh my God. So they automatically think I'm trying to rob them, which I didn't read that in the script. So I said, hey man, I'm here. I help you get in the building. So Harlan hands me the check, and Jason Bateman snatches it back and say, hey man, you don't know this guy. Like I'm a robber. So that kind of threw me off. So the next scene, the director comes over to me, and I'm showing these guys the building, the apartment, right? So she comes over, she said, hey, Cliff, what is this lady's name? Ellen, I can't remember her name. She says, hey, can I have a talk with you? I'm like, okay. She says, when you come in, we're going to do this again, but I think Danny, when you come in, he wants you to case the joint. I said, what? She said, yeah, when you come in to introduce yourself to them, you're kind of like casing the joint. I'm like, that don't feel right, Ellen, because if I just got out of jail and I'm a portrait painter out on the streets, why in the hell am I casing the joint to go back to damn jail? She said, I don't know, but that's what Danny told you to do. I said, well, I'm not feeling that, Ellen. That sounds real different to me. So she says, well, you know, Cliff, you can do the scene or you can go home and Danny will call you. I said, well, I think I'm gonna go home. So I went home, and this was like a Friday. So I called one of my guys who kind of like helped me understand what I got myself into in Hollywood, right? So I said, listen, bro, I got a feeling they're gonna call me over the weekend. Oh, he said, shit, nigga, they definitely gonna call you. So, you know, it's a call that you're thinking, you know, we can resolve this, you know, with a little talking. So Saturday evening, my phone rings. And I said, hi, this is Cliff. Hi, Cliff. And they, oh, white. What I love about white people, they like the mob. They don't tell you they about to kill you. Hey, Cliff. Hey, look, we're going over Paulie's house, and we're gonna have some wine and some champagne and you're gonna get made, dude. Oh my God, I'm gonna get made. And then you walk in the room and they shoot your punk ass. So Ellen says, hey, Cliff, hi. Hope you're having a great weekend. And I'm like, okay, Ellen, what's up? Well, Danny wants to meet with you on Monday. So I said, okay. So I knew what I was going to do. My guy said, you got to hold your ground, but don't be confrontational. So I went in. First thing I said to Danny Jacobson, who's a big white boy who had all the big shows back in the day. And I said, Danny, first of all, I don't want this to be confrontational, and I don't want to cause any trouble here, but I just want to try to understand where we're going with this character. He said, what do you mean, where are we going? I said, well, Danny, the guy just got out of jail, and now you're asking me to walk in like I'm gonna rob the place. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I did 5-10 years in jail. I'm not trying to go, you know, most black people don't want to go back to jail.
Right.
So he turned red, dude. And he looked me right in my face. And before he did, I started telling him about the Harlem Renaissance.
Wow.
And Langston Hughes and Conte Cullen and all of the wonderful literature and culture and art that happened. He never heard of it. I said, you ever heard of Sugar Hill? The poem in the area? It's like Central Avenue back in the day. Harlem may not be as historical as it used to be, but it's still a lot of history in Harlem.
Right. And
I said, I was doing a movie in Harlem, in New York, called Dead Presidents. And I was staying on East 48th Street in a very 5-star, ritzy, sparkling hotel. And I got money in my pocket. And I tried to get a cab to go up to Harlem to get me some crabs. And them niggas wouldn't pick me up for 2 hours. Wow. I had to call a car service. So I said to Danny, I told him the story. I said, so you asking me to sit here as a black man and make fun of Harlem? I said, I can't do that. Wow. He turned white and red and orange all in one time. And I stopped here and he looked me right in my face. He said, I bet you if this was a William freaking film, I bet you would do it. Now, let me just tell you who William Friedkin is. He directed The Exorcist. And I looked at Danny Jacobson and I said, I bet you I wouldn't. And he looked me right in the eye. He said, well, this meeting is over. And I said, great. And I walked out and they fired my ass before I even got home.
Wow.
And the next day I read in Ebony Teen that Clifton Powell was playing a neighborhood coon on a new show called Simon. And I walked away from the show. But I had what you call a pay-or-play deal, so they still had to pay me my $70,000.
Wow, that's.
But let me just tell you the last part of it.
Please.
Every time I came to pick up my check, the writers were out on the stoop. They ran inside when they saw me, and I wanted to say, y'all must don't know black folk. If a black man can get $70,000 without having to go to work in an oppressive environment and get a goddamn check, that's a happy black man right there. I used to skip and get my check. So these are stories, guys, that I don't talk about. You know, I got blocked on a show, and I'm not going to say the name. The networks told the producers they thought I was so black I was going to scare everybody. And the producers, this was back in the 90s, producers said, white producer, black producer, and they said, we're doing everything we can to hire you, but the networks are just scared of you. And it was tragic. So a lot of times people come up to me and say, man, you should have been bigger than you are. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell you one thing, they're not gonna take my soul in Hollywood. And they never did. So I'm honored and I'm proud of that. And I'm so happy to see the landscape that I'm seeing now. It's an amazing thing. So that's my coon story.
Man, that's not a cool story. That's a character story, you know, by far. And